Hello Superset maniacs and welcome back to my channel. The prejudging for the men's open just wrapped up and we've got some juicy first impressions and a couple of surprises I honestly didn't expect. Now, I already know why most of you clicked. Let's just get straight into it and talk about Nick Walker. You know me, I'm the self-proclaimed biggest Nick Walker fanboy out there. I've supported this guy since day one. But like I always said, I'll be the first to call it out when he misses the mark, and unfortunately this time he did. Nick ended up in the second call-out, battling Martin Fitzwater for 5th place, and honestly, I agree with that placement. He just didn't have that trademark freaky conditioning that made him famous. He looked flat, not as sharp, not as grainy, and for Nick, that's the difference between fighting for the title and fighting for top 6. Now, I don't know if this is entirely his fault. The whole production this year has been a mess, keeping the athletes waiting for hours backstage, lights all over the place, timing completely off. That stuff does affect peaking, but the bottom line is simple. Nick Walker missed it, and that's that. You know how we do it here, real talk only. No filters, no BS. Smash that subscribe button, let's hit 30,000 subs, and let's move on. Alright, let's talk about the second big story, Samson Dauda, or as I like to call him, Samsoff. Because yeah, he's off again, he's looking soft, maybe not as soft as at the Arnold Classic, but still nowhere near where he needs to be. I hate that they kept him in the middle for most of the comparisons, because that sends the wrong message. There's no way, in my opinion, that Samson should be in the top 2 after this prejudging. Luckily, toward the end of the callouts, they finally moved him toward the side, which usually means he's not in the running for the win. The last 2 guys in the middle were Derek Lunsford and Hadi Choopan, and that's absolutely deserved after what I saw. Now, speaking of Derek Lunsford, when I watched the individual routines, he was the one that impressed me the most out of that initial top 4 we were all talking about. Him, Samson, Hadi, and Nick. Derek looked complete. He looked balanced, full, and crisp. I genuinely think he's in the running for the title this year, but man, I hate the fact that he keeps stepping past the line. The guy's a repeat offender. Every time he poses, he's up front, closer to the judges, and nobody tells him to step back. The production this year is chaos. It's like nobody's controlling the stage. Even Andrew Jack pointed at Derek at one point, telling him to stay in line, like, bro, come on. And since we're on Andrew Jack, this guy might be the biggest surprise of the night. By the way they moved people on stage, he's clearly in the top 4, probably sitting in 4th for now, but honestly, I don't see how he's behind Samson. Not even close. In my opinion, Andrew Jack should be battling for 1st place with Derek and Hadi, and you can even make an argument for him winning the whole thing. He improved on everything. Conditioning, fullness, posing, even his back shots. The only minor issue is that his left quad looks downsized and it's a little distracting when you notice it. But overall, Andrew is finally putting it together, and that's huge. Now, another solid surprise was Martin Fitzwater. The guy brought it. He's holding his own next to Nick Walker, and honestly, I think he might edge Nick out for that 5th place spot. Martin looked tighter, rounder, more complete. Great showing. Behrooz Tabani, on the other hand, was predicted by almost everyone, including me, to do better. But judging by how the callouts went, he's somewhere near the bottom of the top 10. Not bad, but definitely not what people expected. Then there's Tonio Burton, and he absolutely brought it. He's probably fighting for 7th place right now, battling Brandon Curry, who, by the way, looked a lot better than most expected. I had Brandon out of the top 10 in my predictions, and I'm honestly happy he proved me wrong. The guy still has that classic shape, great lines, great flow. William Bonac also looked surprisingly solid and made the initial 2nd call out, which says a lot considering how stacked this lineup is. Godvito too, he's right there in that mix from 7th to 12th, battling it out with Tonio, Brandon, and Bonac. Urs Kalicinski seems to be out of the top 10 for sure. He's probably fighting Nexzilla for that 13th spot. And I have to say, Nexzilla is a freaking beast from the side. Nobody beats that guy in the side chest or side triceps. He's insane in those poses. Alright, let's go through the callouts and placements based on what we saw from head judge Steve Weinberger. After the first 3 callouts, Steve brought out a 6-man second callout with Nick and Martin in the middle, clearly fighting for 5th. On the sides, you had Tonio and Brandon battling for 7th, and on the far ends, Godvito and William Bonac likely battling for 9th and 10th. So, Based on positioning and movement, my prejudging top 10 predictions look like this. Martin in 5th, Nick in 6th, Tonio in 7th, Brandon in 8th, William in 9th, and Goodvito in 10th. Now, for the first call out, we had Derek, Hadi, Samson, and Andrew, and the first thing that pissed me off, Steve moving Samson in and Andrew out. Total nonsense. There's no way Samson looks better than Andrew tonight. I'm honestly tired of this establishment obsession with guys who look 6 weeks out on stage. And on top of that, Samson's downsized. Enough already. You don't have to agree with me, just hate the politically correct crap as much as I do. That alone's a reason to hit subscribe. Anyway, they started with Hadi and Samson in the middle, Derek and Andrew on the sides. At first, I had Derek and Andrew as my top 2. But Hadi started to tighten up as the round went on, so I can see him fighting for the win. Then, the inevitable happened. Steve finally moved Samson to the side, and we ended up with Derek and Hadi in the middle, fighting for first, while Samson and Andrew battled for third. If it were up to me, my personal ranking after prejudging would be Andrew Jacked in first, Hadi Chupan in second, Derek Lunsford in third, and Samson Dauda in fourth. But based on what we saw on stage and how the judges moved them, it's probably going to go like this. Derek Lunsford first, Hadi Chupan second, Samson Dauda third, and Andrew Jacked fourth. So that's my top 10 after watching the Men's Open prejudging at the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree or am I completely out of line? Either way, this lineup was insane and I can't wait to see how finals shake out. Alright, Superset maniacs, that wraps it up for the prejudging. Let me know who you think takes it. Derek, Hadi, Andrew, or maybe a surprise. You know I'll be back after finals to break it all down with no sugarcoating, no political correctness, just bodybuilding talk the way it's meant to be. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it.